Greetings and welcome to another edition of Quant Slob. This is the third in our foundational series, and this time around we're going to very briefly consider how language shapes our impressions and how we approach communication. The goal here is to bridge our earlier discussion of the importance of strategic thinking and our upcoming micro-series on statistical populations. There's two related themes we're going to consider here, hopefully in a relatable way. One is to be aware of the difference between an idea on one hand and, on the other hand, examples or instances of the idea. The other concerns the depth into which we can attempt to dissect language. Our first theme really here is to appreciate the contrast between a figurative or symbolic impression and a literal impression, and we'll just give a couple examples. So consider the word cars. Does this word represent something symbolic or essential about carness, like freedom, fun, utility, or does it represent an actual bunch of cars in a parking lot or blocking your driveway? For another example in the same spirit, consider the phrase, the writing of P.D. James. Again, same presentation here. Is this symbolic, this phrase symbolic, representing an essence like James's style, or does it represent an actual physical collection of books or ebooks? If you're not familiar with P.D. James, you can substitute your favorite author in here. It's just an example. Okay, so there's nothing fancy going on here. The point is that a single word or expression can evoke very different impressions. And that's it for this first theme. Moving on, our second theme concerns how deeply we can drill into meaning. Students of philosophy might notice our particular usage of Jacques Derrida's term deconstruction. It's a very particular usage. On one hand, over deconstruction can be a serious problem. For example, if somebody goes to a drive-through and orders a hamburger and the order taker starts asking a series of ontological or epistemological questions about the meaning of hamburger, or attempts some psychotherapeutical to try to uncover the deep-seated psychology of the customer to try to figure out why it is they feel like they need a hamburger, this probably is not going to go over very well. Aside from costing friends and possible employment, excessive deconstruction can often lead to something many of us are very familiar with. Analyze till you paralyze. If we keep drilling into the meaning of something, we can become so mesmerized by the space of possibilities that we just never take action. On the other extreme, imagine somebody who has never driven a car gets into the driver's seat and asks, how do you drive a car? If they're told only that the big pedal on the right makes you go and the one on the left makes you stop, we are potentially inviting, if we oversimplify to that degree, a tremendous amount of grief down the proverbial and literal road. And that's it. That's going to do it this time around. Thank you so very much for tuning in, and don't forget to stay tuned for more Quant Slob.